Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Erased series review. I am happy that you can join me today. Okay, I was on social media a couple of days ago, and I was hearing a lot of buzz about a new Star Wars series titled The Acolyte. So I went on Disney Plus to find the trailer and the series description to see what this story is all about. And you know how you go online to find one thing, but you find information about something else that might be totally unrelated? Well, that's what happened to me. Erased World War II's Heroes of Color premiered on Disney Plus on June 4th, the same day as The Acolyte. It is a four-part documentary series narrated by actor Idris Elba. Take a look at the intro that pretty much sums up what this series is about.
I have said not once, but many times, that I have seen war and that I hate war. I hope the United States will keep out of this war.
It was a nice day. Everything was calm to me. As soon as I got off duty, I was planning on going to the beach.
You're hearing a voice that's never been broadcast before. He's a U.S. sailor whose story you won't know. But he and hundreds of African Americans like him will be thrust into one of the most pivotal moments in history. A day that turns the tide of the Second World War.
I could hear it rumbling noise. At that time, I didn't know what it was. I had no idea. We did but to start a war.
More than 8 million people of color served with the Allies during the Second World War.
Troops from India, African Americans, Asians.
My grandfather was one of these men. A soldier of color whose role in the war has never been honored.
These soldiers have really genuinely been hidden from history.
Now, by tracking down their descendants and unearthing forgotten archive, we're going to restore these unsung heroes to their rightful place.
They weren't supposed to write things that were going down when they were in the service. But he did it anyway. He brought us proof of what actually happened.
This series reevaluates four of the greatest battles of World War II and asks, who were these men?
These were guys that went above and beyond the call of duty.
What was their role in the most significant war of modern times?
Their stories deserve to be elevated and not erased.
And how do their experiences shape our modern world?
Each of the 4 episodes clock in at about 45 minutes, and if you decide to watch the entire series in one shot, the total running time is 3 hours. The first episode tells the story of 3 black soldiers who were stationed in Hawaii on 2 warships when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. The second episode tells the story of 3 black soldiers who were a part of the 320th, an all-black combat unit who was instructed to sail to the beaches of Normandy on the morning of D-Day before the white troops arrived so that they could protect white soldiers from Germany and set up a medic station to attend to their needs. The third episode tells the story of four soldiers from Pakistan and India who were members of an all-Indian unit that was a part of the British military who played an important role at the Battle of Dunkirk. And the last episode tells the story of 3 black soldiers who were the members of the Black Panthers, the first all-black tank unit who participated at the Battle of the Bulge. And they were also responsible for shutting down harmful stereotypes about black soldiers and desegregating the U.S. military. Now, all 4 episodes have some key things in common. Number 1, while you are learning about these soldiers and their contributions to helping the Allies win the war, you are also learning how their stories got erased from history on purpose, to the point where many World War II historians have no idea that black soldiers were on the beaches of Normandy on D-Day. Number 2, you find out that many black soldiers suffered from PTSD. Therefore, some of them waited 50 years to tell their story of what they experienced. Number 3, the only reason why we have these stories and we know black soldiers fought in World War II is because they told their children their stories. If it wasn't for these children preserving these stories, there would be no proof black soldiers were there. Not even white soldiers who came home made an effort to document the heroism of their black counterparts, even though they saw the press and the military leaders ignore and disregard their contributions. Whatever got out was published in black-owned newspapers. Number 4, and this is very shocking to me because I don't remember learning about this in high school American history and in high school world history. You find out that black World War II soldiers were the start of the civil rights movement, and the Indian soldiers in the British military were the start of the fight for India's independence from the British Empire. The general, simple explanation is the soldiers of color saw World War II as Western Europe fighting against Germany for liberation. So when black soldiers came home to the same Jim Crow bullshit, and the Indians went back home to India and found out that nothing has changed except them, they all started to question, what was I fighting for? And they felt they deserved equal rights. Therefore, I personally found out something I never knew before, and that is the fact that the civil rights movement and the fight for India's independence took place after World War II were of no coincidence. So I am going to give this series 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is a must-see series. At the time I am posting this review, it is the 80th anniversary of D-Day. There have been so many movies and documentaries about the Holocaust, about Hitler, about the white heroes of World War II. Everyone's story has been told except the stories of certain black and Indian soldiers. And when you learn how their stories got erased, you realize that many generations that came after have been cheated from not knowing this part of the story. This series was created to right a lot of wrongs. One big wrongdoing, and a lot of people don't realize, is if you don't document it, it does not matter. And that's why it hurts so many black soldiers who survived, returned to the U.S., and they didn't even get a thank you for their service. And their stories of heroism got marked out, and many of them continue to endure the horrors of Jim Crow. I learned in one of the episodes, Medgar Evers was a World War II vet, and he was assassinated during the Civil Rights Movement. If you tolerated Jim Crow before you signed up for the military, you're not going to tolerate it when you come home. Not when you don't get a thank you. The press is pushing a lie that all the war heroes are white, and you saw firsthand that many black soldiers saved the lives of many white soldiers. There is a big difference between going to war, getting traumatized by it, and going to war, getting traumatized by it, being a victim of Jim Crow, fighting for civil rights, and possibly losing your life in the process if you were able to survive the war. My mother told me she doesn't like to watch programs like Erased, but I watch them because for me, it is a reminder that you can lie about what happened. You can hide the truth. You can bury the truth. But the truth always comes to light. You don't know when, you don't know how, but the truth always reveals itself when you least expect it to, and it is up to us to receive it, whether we're in the mood for it or not. Some of these soldiers volunteered, but some of them were drafted. They ended up fighting to avoid jail time. So after all of these decades of their stories being disregarded, out of respect for their sacrifice, we have to find the time to watch a series like this, the same way we found the time and continue to find the time to listen to the stories of white World War II vets. Otherwise, why do we celebrate Memorial Day? Why do we celebrate Veterans Day? Why do people celebrate the anniversary of D-Day? So if you are busy watching Star Wars, I get it, but please take the time to watch Erased and learn about the forgotten soldiers of the war. Everyone, regardless of race or ethnicity, should watch this. And this is not the first time stories like this got ignored. The most famous project about the Tuskegee Airmen was a movie made over 10 years ago that was produced by George Lucas called The Red Tails. That movie took a profit loss at the box office. So I would not be surprised if the movie industry doesn't make another movie about the Red Tails. But it is probably the only story about black World War II soldiers that got media attention over the past 40 years. So please watch this series. Highly, highly recommended. So that is all for today, my friends. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time with more movie reviews. Take care, and God bless.